So work together 9-4 deals with the last journal that we're going to work with in this chapter because it's the last section. So we have worked with now 2 new journals. Purchases. The purpose of a purchases journal is only for recording merchandise that's bought on an account. So when you took that quiz the other day, some of you said buy merchandise. That didn't cut it because you only record things in the purchases journal if you're buying merchandise on an account. Cutting hairs on it, but that's the important part. Because I can buy merchandise for cash, and that would go in my cash payments journal. But really, purchases is just when I'm buying things and I'm going to pay people later, which is why there's only one column for numbers, and that one column for numbers has 2 account titles on the top of it. Because it doesn't make sense to write the same number twice if your own this journal only is going to affect those accounts. Then yesterday and the day before, we worked on our cash payments journal. And our cash payments journal is going to deal with anytime you have money leaving the business, going out. 99.9% of the time, that source document for that is going to be a check. I say 0.9 because you are going to have service fees from the bank that you would record in there that you don't write a check for, but the bank just takes out of your account. But really, 99.9% of the time, if you see the source document as a check, you know you have to go to your cash payments journal. So we also have some types of transactions that don't fit under purchases or cash payments. So for example, if I buy supplies on an account, supplies are not things that I'm turning around to sell, so it can't go in my purchases journal. Purchases is only items that I'm going to sell. So if I buy supplies on an account, it also is not going to go in my cash payments journal because I'm not paying anyone yet. But I have to record the fact that my supplies is going up and my liability is going up. So we are going to use our general journal. And our general journal, as you can see, has 2 columns for numbers and has no special columns. It just says debit and credit. Here's the tricky thing though. You remember in my cash payments journal, I told you don't have to write accounts payable /GONS? Because there was a special column called accounts payable. We have an actual account right now called accounts payable. And any time that I affect DONS, I would also have to affect accounts payable. So when we record anything in our general journal that deals with the liability, we have to write accounts payable / the name of the business, because those are 2 different accounts. Before it was grouped together, but we have something called a subsidiary ledger now, and that's a ledger that has just information for our people that we owe money to, our vendors. And we are also going to have a controlling account, and that controlling account is called accounts payable. And at any given point, I can look at accounts payable and it will tell me how much I owe all of my vendors. That's important information. Because if I have $50,000 that I owe to my vendors, maybe I shouldn't go out and buy more. So you always have to be aware of where we're at. So this journal, we have right here this note that people tend to skip over. It says, note, please place a / in the post reference column to show that the single amount is posted in 2 accounts. So anytime that you write accounts payable / the name of the business, because you have to put a / in here, you also have to put a / in the post reference. We're not actually posting it right now, but Applia will mark it wrong if you don't put the / there. Solid? So for our transactions, we have a general journal for Rood Electric, and we're going to use the current year and journalize the following transactions on page 8 of a general journal. Source documents are abbreviated as follows: M memorandum and DM for debit memorandum. We've dealt with the memorandum before, but we're going to deal with the DM today, and I'll cover that when we get to that transaction. The transaction October 5th reads, bought store supplies on an account from Designer Supplies, $180. Now, because we have no special columns in this journal, all transactions are going to take at least 2 lines, minimum of 2 lines. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with our date. October 5th. Now, we always have to put our debits first. So we're buying supplies on an account. What's being debited, Seth?
Supplies.
Okay. What kind of supplies?
Store supplies.
So it's going to be read supplies, stash, store. Yep. Now, our document number in our general journal, you have to put your letters with it. You can't just type in your numbers. So you're going to have to put in M35. Nothing in the post reference. And then I'm going to go in the debit and put in 180. Now, we bought supplies on an account, so we have supplies that are being debited. The other account that's going to be affected is going to be accounts payable / designer supplies. So I'm going to go ahead and type in accounts payable, and you're going to notice that you have that choice here, and do you see how there's the slash between them, and we never had that before? You have to be aware of that slash. So we're going to use accounts payable / designer supplies. Now be aware, Aplia likes to be tricky, and they might actually put in accounts receivable / and it might be the wrong one. So always be aware, are you doing payable or are you doing receivable? Payable means we have to pay them money in the future. Receivable means they're going to pay us money, or we are going to receive money. So because I put accounts payable / designer supplies in the account title, I have to put a slash in my post reference. If I do not, Aplia will mark that wrong for you, and that'll be $180. I will cover that with you in an upcoming chapter when we deal with posting, why it's there. Right now, I just need you to know that you have to do it. Okay. The 7th, return merchandise to Hendrix product. $540 DM65. So basically what happened is our business went through and we bought a whole bunch of erasers, but they were defective. So we need to return them to them. I already had recorded that I have these because I'm going to turn around and sell them. So I need to return these to the person I bought it from. Now, when I bought these, what account did I affect? Account title. Nope, these aren't supplies. What am I doing with these? Okay. So when we hear the word merchandise, we think of what account title? Purchases. So when I bought these, I affected as a debit purchases. Purchases is a cost account. So now, I am going to return them. I am not going to credit purchases. You're like, what, Mrs. Grassel? We have a special account called purchases, returns, and allowances. Because what we're going to keep track of is how much items that we bought that we've returned. Because if they're defective, they're not working, whatever, and we go through and see how much money that we have had in returns, that's not an effective use of time or resources for our business. So businesses will have a goal of where they should be at for purchases, returns, and allowances. So purchases is our controlling account. We have purchases discount is a contra account, and we also have purchases, returns, and allowance is a contra account. Again, if it's a contra account, it has an opposite normal balance of its controlling account, which would be purchases. So purchases, returns, and allowances would be credited. And then who we bought it from would be debited, right? Because we're actually going to lower our accounts payable. So with that in mind, when we take a look at journalizing this transaction, we have to put the date of the 7th. I didn't remember the date. And my debit is going to be accounts payable, Hendrix product. Source document DM. And notice that it says DM for a debit memorandum, because what are we doing to accounts payable? Are we debiting or crediting it? Debit. So you know anytime you see the source document of DM, you're affecting accounts payable. Thank you. I didn't hit enter yet. Okay, we are going to be learning about a credit memorandum in the future, and I want to make it easier for you to understand. So if you see DM, associate debit memorandum with accounts payable. There's a slash mark in an account title, so I have to put a slash mark in the post reference, and it's going to be for $540. And then this will be purchases, returns, and allowance for $540. And again, we have more account titles for us to get information so that our business can make better decisions. If we just lumped everything into purchases, we wouldn't have enough data to make choices for our business to determine whether or not are we using the right vendors. Because sometimes it may be shipping. Have you ever bought something from Amazon and you got it and it's already broken? Okay, is it the shipping or is it the quality of the product? So, and then you get a chance to return it, right? So the same thing here, you probably will read reviews and see whether or not it's being shipped well. This is the same type of information. We are just tracking it into that account, purchases, returns, and allowances. Try the on your own. As you can see, this is not a long section.